And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
And welcome to episode 182. Today we're going to be talking about what you look for in your video games, your role-playing games, your miniature games, stuff like that. Because we're going to be going over that topic because it's actually become pretty relevant now after a few things that I've seen online. But before we do all that, let's get through the business of everything. We are a creature creator. You will see us paint creature caster models on here from time to time. We also want to thank Metalhead Minis, Lynn Stahl, amazing lady. She hosts a few of our things that we sell for the podcast, dice, widgets, other accoutrements.
Accoutrement?
Yeah.
Accoutrement.
And Tectonic Christ Studios, Dan the Man, we want to thank him. He has some new stuff coming out. We should be seeing that sometime soon, hopefully. If anything, you'll be seeing that Warfare Weekend. We also want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting us and providing a place for us to help distribute out all of our audio. By the way, if you would like to watch us, you can find us on Twitch Sunday, or you can find all the episodes on YouTube also. Where you can also find our, not only the podcast, but our RPGs, John's MechWarrior Online stuff, and soon, John, you're going to be doing minis and movies again?
Theoretically, we'll see how time allows. I mean,
Fingers crossed, minis and movies.
Yeah.
only so many hours in a day. You'll be surprised to hear that it's the movies part that becomes a problem. I know I have nothing for the media section today.
So.
I don't either. I've already talked about the two shows that I watched and nothing's changed. So
Yeah.
I watched a couple more episodes of Robin Hood. Yeah.
Robin of Sherman.
Which you'll be talking about later.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
So, John, what are you drinking right now?
Nothing.
What are you going to be drinking?
What am I going to be drinking? All right, well, that's a different question. In reverse order, I'll have a little bit of my Dr. McGillicuddy's apple pie liqueur from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I also have some Propel strawberry lemonade water. But my main drink is actually a Dark and Stormy, which, if you're not keeping track at home, is basically a mule just with Kraken instead of the, vodka or whatever. Kathy, what are you drinking?
I am drinking gin and ginger ale today.
Oh, gin and ginger ale.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Monotonic
finishing it up.
water and gin and ginger ale is a good combination.
I bet it's better with ginger beer.
I don't have ginger beer though.
You don't keep ginger beer in your house?
No.
I
The
would
only
suggest
thing
it.
the only thing I would drink it with is gin. So
I don't know. I like ginger beer a lot better than I like ginger ale. Just even for straight drinking.
I don't drink it straight.
Oh, well, there you go.
Anyways,
Anyway,
in fact, I had 2 Coke Zeros yesterday, and afterwards, like later on, my mouth just felt dry, like I had dry mouth or something from it.
I don't like
And that-
Coke Zero. I don't
that
like any of the
was
zeros.
weird.
I can tell them. If you drown them in alcohol, I can still tell, and that's a bad thing.
I don't get that sense. But then I don't drink sugary beverages at all, so it doesn't really matter to me. But having 2 of them and then having that sort of dry mouth feeling afterwards, no matter how much water I was drinking after that, I don't want to repeat that again. So,
No, you should probably have water next time.
yeah. Or coffee. Coffee doesn't do that to me.
Gonzo, what are you drinking?
I went back on a good old favorite, Maker's Mark. That's what I'm going to be drinking tonight. With that, also, we do have a shout-out. John, you did post someone.
Oh, anything zero is terrible, I can tell. I made the mistake of getting Dr. Pepper Zero, or whatever their version is, and I mixed it with Kraken, I could tell. So I put more Kraken in, and I could still fucking tell. So that is a problem. Yes, I did. I just saw it come up in my feed today. That Steve Perrin, who most of you probably don't know, I mean, it's the only opinion that matters to me, but it ain't mine. Past, he is really one of the role playing giants. He's involved in so many things: RuneQuest, a bunch of Chaosium stuff. Even I think he's even done some artwork and stuff I've seen on stuff from here to here. He did Super World and all. He was really one of those unheard big deals in a role playing thing, and he just passed. So
I didn't see or know of anything else besides that one. And I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know the gentleman's name. I know the stuff that he's done, but didn't know the name at all.
Mhm.
I think that was about it. Guys, make sure that you're still wearing your mask. Get vaccinated if you haven't gotten vaccinated. Look out for each other. Make sure that you are doing what you can to help stop this, and be safe. Please be safe. Um, cheers.
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 Oh, that's tasty.
As
So
is mine.
I am going to switch over to the cam because I want to work on my Colossus, my Gargantuan, I should say, while we're doing this. So I'm going to switch over to the paint cam. It's all dark over there. Oh, hold on. Fix that before I get yelled at. Oh, I did finish one of um, the larger mechs, John. If you could see, it's for heavy gear. These are like the commander's non-troop, so about the same size. They got thick legs. Now the rotating these feet right here and everything. This is just based off the
They
actual.
are thick.
Yeah, the legs are different on this faction because this faction is like the speed faction. So
You know what the legs make me think of is more like a Gundam.
yeah, they're
This-
pretty thick.
Those proportions are really. Mm, mm.
So I'm gonna see if I can get when I
will
have
stick-
Nick
I
on.
will stick with. I am not a fan. I'll leave it at that. Not a fan.
Well, when we have Nick on eventually, I'll make sure and get pictures and stuff of the models he has, so we can do a compare. Definitely between my models, his models, and like the Mech Warrior. But I mean the the command size, they're about the same size, just chunkier.
We
Yeah.
suggest they need thick legs for the shoulder cannon. That's for stability. Sure.
If I'm to be blunt, the shoulder cannon is actually probably the worst part of the fucking thing.
I put it there. You can put it anywhere you want. He actually has another gun that goes right here, and then like something here. I haven't decided how I want to outfit him yet. I just knew
Also,
I'd
it looks like the head missing. The head would probably make it look a little better.
Yeah, the head goes. Yeah. The head is missing. The head goes right there.
Right in the middle of the shoulders.
There's a little divot you can see. So I wanted to work on this model while we are talking. I want to get some glue on him. I'm going to scoot all my little bits. I got also a little bit of shaving to do for some lines, but I wanted to get some of the stuff done on him and get.
You don't have a separate brush for that?
This
Is that
one.
your dry brushing brush?
I don't like this one. This is not my typical dry brushing one.
Okay.
I don't
If
like
it's not
this
one
one.
you normally use, then
Yeah,
objections
no.
retracted.
Yeah, no, I don't like that dry brush. I like the big old tank dry brush.
Oh yeah.
More than anything?
The great big giant round
Yeah.
brush.
Oh, yeah.
That's way better than a flat.
Yeah.
No question.
That brush hurts my soul every time I see it.
Yeah, it does. That's a tragedy right there.
It's
It's so
tragedy.
beyond everything. I would have to just soak it in rubbing alcohol for, a
85
few
years.
hours, and then just sort of massage the bristles until all that paint just, all that dried paint just went away. Because you can do that, Gonzo, if you ever care to, and clear away most of that dried paint.
Then beg it for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Then beg it for
And it
forgiveness.
won't be perfect afterwards, but it will be much better than what it is right now.
I'll be honest. Every time I go to the game store, I just buy a couple more cheap army painter brushes of certain sizes that I use all the time. Eventually, I'll start checking to see if the Winsor Newton or Raphael or whatever are worth getting in quantity, if they last long enough to be worth the price difference. I don't think I'm quite there yet.
I have some
I
Winsor
hear
Newtons.
good things about Rosemary and Company and Raphael are the two sable brushes I hear the most about, but apparently Rosemary and Company you can't get here in the U.S. because of something about importing sable.
Yep, that's what Winsor Newton had that problem too.
Well, their quality, I have heard from other people, has declined a bit. I don't know if that's actually true. I don't know because I don't often paint with sable brushes. So, and every time I do, it ruins whatever I'm working on usually because I'm used to using synthetic brushes and the bristles, the way they hold the paint and the way they move the paint around is very different. And because I'm used to what I can do with synthetic brushes, anytime I try to use my sable brushes, I end up messing things up. So then I remember that and I put them aside and then I never learn how to use them properly.
It's a good note to everyone. If you're used to certain brushes, don't just change because it was supposed to be better. Be aware you're going to have to get used to the change because you've got memory based on how that exact thing works, which is why I currently buy the same damn brushes every time.
Yep, absolutely correct.
I knew a guy who could paint an entire army with a GW starter brush. Just everything with a starter brush. Detail, dry brushing, everything with just GW starter brush.
Most of everything I've done for like 20 years has been with synthetics. And it's only in the last year that I've even painted anything with sables. So yeah, there's definitely if you didn't start out with sables and you're used to, I feel like I can paint passably well with synthetics. So at this point, I wonder why should I change?
Passably well is not ever a descriptor I use for your painting. So I have one Winsor Newton brush I've had for years. It's still good. It's still got a pretty good tip. So, but I only break it out when I really, really mean business and I really, really need to get that one thing right because it holds its point so well. Anyways, Bowie, it looks like one of the new Infernal Colossal Horrors because it is, yes. So there you go. Topic.
So okay, so I'm going to show this real quick, just a second. I did an order and they had this game on sale, and I'd been wanting to get it because Kathy, it was shown at Gen Con and someone said something about it, and so I picked up a copy of Overlight. Very thick book, by the way. I mean, huge.
I wish you told me. I could have gotten it from the creators.
Well,
George is my boy.
Well, I mean, I don't mind supporting.
I could have gotten one from them directly at no point. I purchased it obviously, but
I saw it there. It was on sale, and I was like, oh, the shipping, that calculated up to free shipping, so so on and so forth. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'd seen it before, and we had talked about it. Someone had mentioned it a while back, and so I started reading it yesterday because I had a little bit of free time. Puppy was asleep, and everything was calm in the house, so I decided to read it. And it got to me on the topic of one of the reasons why we're having the topic is because of the book. And I see a lot of people going, hey, I'm leaving 40K. Hey, I'm leaving this. Hey, I'm leaving that. Tell me about this game, so on and so forth. So I was like, oh, okay, that'll be a cool topic for us to cover, being that, everybody's starting to get back into the store or start doing things. And I figured we could talk about what makes you want to play. What do you look for in certain games? And so, like, one of the things I think is important is all of us play miniature games. So we can start there and just hit some of the other topics. Like, Kathy, what do you look for whenever you see a miniature game to play? Are you looking for what exactly?
So it's funny because I don't run any games. I never have. yet. I suppose it's possible sometime in the future. But anyways, since I don't run the games, I haven't had to pay attention to as much of the minutia of the mechanics as people who run games. So it hasn't really been, the mechanics haven't really been an important thing for me. For me, for a game, it's really just about the the socialization and does it have cool uh, racial types or player character types, archetypes? Um, are there interesting ones? Are there unusual ones? I remember two games stand out for me as ones that had unusual and interesting player character options, and that was Earth Dawn and what was the the, El- the what's his face? Now I can't think of the name. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen it. It's the one based on Elric.
Elric of Melbourne?
Stormbringer.
Yes, the yeah. So there was a million crazy options for characters in that game, and to me, that was one of the things that made those worlds really rich and interesting, and it wasn't just the same old elves, dwarves, humans, you know,
Hobbit/halflings.
yeah, hobbit slash halfling, orc, whatever. Whether it's, orcs, half orcs as player characters or not player characters or whatever. But, you just see a fantasy game and they just have those basic things that they run out. And like fifth edition has gotten a little more interesting lately because of some of the player character options they've been adding over the last few years. And which that's the thing that I play because that's the thing that my friends are playing right now. I haven't played any other games in forever except for Shadowrun. And you know how I feel about the Street Samurai. John loves the Street Samurai. I could not get the hang of it.
I actually mostly played mercenaries or physical adepts, so low cyber guys or magic guys who do similar stuff to Street Samurais. But
There just was so much tiny little stuff to keep track of with that. I just could not.
so that actually brings me to something I look for. So I don't actually get to play games. At this point, I don't expect I'll regularly get to play a game anytime soon. I don't. It is what it is. If I'm playing a game, I look for whatever the fuck someone's running because I don't care.
Mhm.
If I've got time and someone else is gonna run the game, fuck's sake, I'm in. But it has to be in person. I look for in person because I can't do web. It's just not the same, and I don't like it. Our technology is not quite there yet. We're like a step away. As soon as we get everything a little better with the, Discord channels and all that, where it's not cutting words off and all, then I'll be in potentially. But as for other games I'm looking for, generally I look for one of two things, and it's going to seem weird to say it this way, but I either look for interesting rules mechanics that look like they'd be fun, cinematic, or cool and enjoyable to use, or I look for a really super cool game world, because if their rules suck, I can just make it in my main game. Because that's the thing about the hero system, which I play mostly for superheroes, but I can make anything. I literally have an entire conversion thing to run Robotech in it because I was bored one month. And I put that in there because why the fuck not, right? Wasn't even playing Robotech at the time. Just bored. So I look for, cool worlds. So something like Rifts. Love the worlds of Rifts. Would love to could run that in Hero. Would be super
Rift
cool.
would have been fun. That was one we played a little bit, but I liked that world. Yeah, as I
The
recall,
world is
Rift's
great.
world
Yes.
was really cool.
Yeah, they have a lot of source book they put out. They're A+ of putting out source material. The other thing I look for is games with cool mechanics, not the same old, not well, it's D&D just this, because it's like, well, for fuck's sake, why am I not playing just D&D? You know, why am I playing you? So something like the Genesis system that Star Wars uses for its role-playing game, or Genesis itself, the core one, or just something interesting. Feng Shui, where it's super simple and super cinematic, but interesting because you describe all your actions. There's not a lot of crazes to go along with it. Or I just got, oh god, what is it called?
How is that not sticking? Is that not resin, Gonzo?
It's resin. It's got very few contact points for some weird reason. That's the reason why I was kind of pushing the glue so I could see where it's contacting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeet. Indeed, trash. Yeet. But Prowlers and Paragons is a superhero one I got, because most of my superhero is in Champions, which is the hero system, but it is a very complicated system. Some people have tried to understand it and don't. Some people just don't even fucking bother. Fair.
I was curious about that one because I saw that and I was like interested in it.
I mean, I can do anything there. What do you want? I could probably build your character right now. What do you need?
No, I was just kind of curious what the system was like and everything because I've seen it and just never.
Don't even need
Are you going to help us make characters and run a little game for us right now?
Are we gonna be a? Oh shit, we're playing games now. I'm in. Let's go. For you guys, I'm in. But anyways, yeah, that's what I look for. I look for interesting stuff, because Prowlers and Paragons has an interesting dice mechanic I liked, and it looked a lot simpler. So I was like, okay, let me give that a chance because not everyone wants the complexity and crunchiness of Champions. Not everyone can endure the red pen of the GM when they make their character for me, Banyan. Like Bowie would play with us. He understood the system well enough, but a lot of it would be like, I want my character to do this. Can you just make me the character? Because it's complicated. I mean, I won't even doubt it's not as complicated as you make it out to be. They'll joke about calculus and bullshit. No, it doesn't get beyond fucking addition, subtraction, maybe some multiplication, you jackass. People like, does he calculus?
What?
Do you remember algebra, for fuck's sake? What? Sorry? Red pen. Red pen of character creation. That's what I was talking about. So, I wanted something maybe a little easier, and it looks like that may fit the bill. I backed another one on Kickstarter, who I don't remember the name off the top of my head. I'm going to try and get the name real quick, because it sounded cool, because they advertised it as a cinematic Tidebreaker, cinematic tabletop RPG. It was cheap. I'm like, well, sure, why not? Why don't I just, jump in and back a cinematic RPG? Cinematic is what I'm looking for, So that's why Feng Shui gets a lot of action from me. That's why I look at stuff like that, And a lot of that.
Sorry for the noise.
And I look a little bit for source books because, I can play a game off, if it's good enough, off no source books. I can play the hero system, a GURPS, off no source books because you have enough there, you can do what you want. Spoiler, don't play GURPS. It's okay, but it's not great. Other spoiler, don't play Palladium Books. That's one of the things I look for also. If it's made by Palladium Books, I don't fucking play it. I will steal their system, put it into their system, but I'm not going to play it. They're not bueno.
Nope.
And it sounds really harsh to say it that bluntly. They're one of the few companies I'm like, oh, they made it? No, fuck that.
I'm not going to give them any more money.
Yeah. So I look for that. I look for simplicity, and I look for... There's a lot of games people will forgive mechanics for, but if you're playing a game, you need to not be having mechanics that get in the way. I'm okay with complicated, but you don't want the mechanics to get in the way or make it harder than it needs to be. Which is why I don't play White Wolf games much anymore, because they've updated to be complicated and easier to fail catastrophically than to succeed, which is a terrible thing. But anyways. You actually played the best of the Palladium systems, which was Palladium Fantasy Role-Playing Game, which is basically D&D by any other name. So, but I guess that's sort of my, go-tos for it. I want something interesting in the game system, or something super easy, or both. I mean, if you're running the game, you could do whatever. Like, at the end of the day, you can do whatever with whatever. I could probably create whatever game you want and whatever system that's half decent that you like and make it work. But having the stuff there to back you up initially is why you go for the big dogs. Like there's a bunch of smaller fantasy systems like Genesis, really cool, great. Looks like it might be fun for fantasy, but there's not a lot there. Why wouldn't I just do Pathfinder Second Edition or D&D Fifth?
Yeah.
Why are you going to add all this extra work? So, Gonzo, what do you look for?
I'm with you on this. It's got to be something new and unique. I've been playing, RPGs for forever, and the system has to bring something different. And that's the reason why I kind of chose this, because it had something different in it. Still not through with it, so I'm not gonna. The world is unique. The characters are unique. I don't know if the system is well enough for it to be played, but I mean, it's got a good story and it's got a unique thing for it.
As I know one of the designers, he's a big RPG guy. I imagine it's playable.
Yeah, I haven't got to that part yet. I'm still learning the races, the world, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not there yet. Because I'm one of those people that likes to collect RPGs, and if I find one I like, I keep it forever. If I don't, I just kind of like give it away or trade it in or whatever. And like recently, I backed Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG that came out. Now I'm a big Avatar fan. I like it. Super cheap for a ton of stuff. I'm kind of worried because hopefully they're not getting the vibes of Palladium and Robotech, because they're at like 6 million funded.
5.7, sir.
Ooh, so we're close.
Almost 5.8.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what company it is. I heard some word through the grapevine about them, but I don't know the company. So Magpie Games, I do not know.
I bought their RPG, their superhero RPG, because it was super cheap. They're running a sale on it. I picked it up.
Is it Masks: A New Generation?
Yes, the Masks, whatever I think is what it was. Don't know.
Yeah, it's Masks: A New Generation. They listed on here. I'm just trying to see what they've done. See if I've heard of them. I have not heard of them, so I got nothing there. But honestly, most of those licensed things are so good in background material, they're worth it for that. For example, I would not play Robotech from Palladium anymore. I've played a shit ton of it. I would play it in any other system because I can do that. And actually, that's a good. I know. Let's say that for another podcast. We'll do another role playing podcast coming up soon, because I got so much I could say on this subject. Jeez.
Yeah, but I mean,
we could not get to other games.
I've been playing D&D since advanced D&D type thing, where you had to color in your dice with crowns so you could see the numbers. That type of thing.
D&D, sir.
Do what?
That was basic D&D.
Oh, then I was around basic D&D then.
I'm there for that.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, they were out about the same time.
Oh, were they?
Technically, 5th edition, 6th edition, because you got to count D&D and advanced D&D as separate things.
But
yeah, technically, yeah.
My next big one that I played after that was Earth Dawn. And I love Earth Dawn. I own even all the stuff from FOSSA. I own the stuff from the new company that is, and I love Earth Dawn is one of my favorite worlds, and I will always run a campaign for Earth Dawn anytime I can, because I love the world so much, and I love the characters, and it is a very unique system, very unique races, unique crunch system, unique dice. Everything's really good. It's one of the most unique that I've seen in a long time. That I really, really like, I should say. And so I will run a Earth Dawn campaign anytime someone says so, because it's just balls great. It's got to be something. Oh, this is just a fantasy world with okay, yeah, all right. No new unique mechanics. Okay, all right.
Well, that would be unique as long as they do it right, or have something in it that would make it worth playing over the big dogs.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. If it's just generic Fantasy World 101 and there's not anything that makes it, unique, I'm just kind of like, eh.
One that I liked that's sci-fi that was kind of out of the box was Fading Suns.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Fading Suns. It was one that I don't think ever got a fair chance.
It did not.
I really enjoyed the universe of that.
It reminded me of like Dune in a way, the way the world was set up. It did.
Yeah, I could see that.
I own Fading Suns too. I thought that was a really unique system setting and everything. Never got around to playing it.
No, I've seen it, but I've never played it.
Yeah.
I think we ended up playing Cyberpunk, Cyber Generation instead when that was an option.
But yeah, it's got to be something more than the generic fantasy world, fantasy elves, fantasy thing. But it's got to have something. It's got to have some cool mechanic or something cool going on with the world. Or I just kind of pass it by and don't even worry about it. Because if I want to play a system where it's the fantasy elves and dwarves, I can just go straight towards D&D Fifth Edition. They've got all the materials. They got everything I need. I'm not worried about it. Type thing. So, I'm. It's not like I'm picky. I'm always running. So I mean, I think in the last 2 years I've got to actually play in a campaign, and one fell through, and this one just started. So I'm like, kind of happy.
Well, the big thing about running a campaign, just to finish up the role-playing portion of it, is that you need system familiarity to run it. Doesn't matter what the fuck you're running, as long as you're familiar with the system, you can make it work.
Yeah.
So, tabletop miniature games.
Yeah.
Kathy, what do you look for?
Time. Someplace to play it. People to play it with.
Those are all fair comments that I kind of saw coming.
Yeah.
So
Because
pre-COVID,
I've bought into games that I thought would be fun because of, and again, this is about the universe and the uniqueness of models and stuff. But or wow, these are really cool, and it's Nurgle. Like the Gellerpox. But then I end up with no place to play it, or nobody to play it with if I have a place, or no time in which to play it, and those are my hurdles. So I've tabletop games ever since the bunker closed have just kind of fallen by the wayside for me. I have the best intention of playing like Warcry with my Iron Golems. I used to like Aeronautica. I don't have the new game because I have no idea when I would play it or who I would play it with. But I really enjoyed the old iteration of it. What was the other? Oh, Necromunda. I have Goliath Gangers. I have them painted up, but I don't have anybody to play with. And I don't have any place to play it. So, yeah, that's lots of miniatures. I have plenty, like X-Wing I bought into. It was all like in on Rebels and got a bunch of ships and whatnot, and I played it like 5 times in the game store I was playing it at closed, and that was that. I haven't played it in a couple years. So
Fair enough.
That's where I'm at with tabletop games.
That is the hardest part, making sure, and that's the same for everyone, having a place to play, be it your local game store, a club, or somebody's house, and having the people to play it with, because honestly, that's number one. But once you've jumped those hurdles that Kathy has, I think you end up in a situation sort of more me and Gonzo are in, where we're like, what games do we look at? I look for, nowadays, low to mid model count. If you have more models than Star Wars Legion, don't expect me to be playing that shit. Like, Age of Sigmar and all is an exception, and I probably won't play that much, but 40k and all, not really interested in getting that many models anymore. I mean, I have armies now that I've gotten no more. Like, War Machines, too many models, not really interested. It's got to have solid gameplay and scenario play. It doesn't have to be the greatest, but it has to have both, You can't just get by with, well, play is great. Well, you got no scenarios, so that's not really good. You need to have that, and it doesn't have to do anything special. It's just got to be solid. We talked about, Marshall and I talked about this yesterday, and We're in on any small model count game. We'll look at it. Be happy to look at any of those. One of the guys interested in like a Prohibition era miniatures game. I'm like, I would totally look at it. I mean, if you're talking, 5 to 10 models, who gives a shit, right? 5, 10 models is fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably spending $50 or so.
Sure, whatever. And if you get to the next level, the 11 to say maybe 50 or so at absolute most, then you're really gonna have to sell me on that. I don't really want that. Even Legion now is looking daunting with all those models when I can just paint, a Marvel Crisis Protocol model and change my entire list pretty significantly, And the time it takes for me to paint an entire army for Legion, I can paint up 2 Malifaux warbands and a whole new fucking force for Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's hard to compete with that. Something like Warcry would look at if there were people playing it. So that when the group has to be willing to play it. If our crew's not willing to play it, doesn't matter how much I like it, not going to buy anything. I love Infinity. Infinity's in that slightly higher. You're generally talking, I've never seen more than 30 models. You're generally going to have 10 to 15. It's fine, but none of the crew's playing it, so it sits in its figure case for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, if no one's playing it, you're not gonna get into it unless you can get people into it, and it's really hard to get people into a game nowadays.
Yeah, true.
But yeah.
But small to mid model count. Jesus Christ, really, Cookie? Are you stealing Trash's thing of trolling? Yes, I've tried BattleTech. I've played BattleTech a time or two. Yeah, so that Trash, that sounds good. Rangers of Shadow Deep / Forgotten Psalm, 5 models or less sounds great. It's all that's worth looking at. Like everything that what the hell are they called? Osprey's putting out. They're just putting out rules. Any models you want, they all seem small level, worth looking at if the crew's interested. If not, what the heck's the point? Like I got Age of Sigmar. I'm probably the only one in our greater crew that really is going to play Age of Sigmar. Banyan might just because I am, but he didn't really want to necessarily. He hasn't found a list he likes. Bowie not going to do it. Marshall's not interested. Not Brushhead Dave.
Ogres.
Not Brushhead Dave will just play the corn he plays for everything that he's had painted and keeps for forever. No nickname Frank is not interested. So I mean, at that point, why am I even looking at the game? I'm really looking at the extended crew. Oh, Bowie, the Shade. Damn. So Age of Sigmar is a perfectly fun game. It's not great, but it's fine and it's fun. And I've got stuff I like, and it's even relatively low model count because it's Trogs. But there are other things besides it. But I only have a handful of friends who are interested in playing it.
Good night, Banyan.
But it's just not worth it necessarily though. So you got to watch that because if it's too many models, I mean, God, how many models can we all paint anymore? Right? We don't have a lot of time. Yeah, Orcs I have to give to a friend. Like honestly, yeah, I love the Stormcast on the new box set, but I didn't buy it because GW shit on the release. Jesus. They need to stop shitting the bed on that. And it looks like they've actually turned that corner, to be fair, with Kill Team. But then again, Kill Team, I talked to the guys. None of them are really interested in it. So goes by the wayside. So we're down to, Marvel Crisis Protocol because it's great out of the box. It's easy. It's low. You're 10 models. You can literally paint 10 models and be done. You might end up with a little more than that because you might need 1 out of a 2-pack, but it's not terrible still. It's that Malifaux, same thing. You'll have more models, but at a time, you could literally just come to the table with 10 models or so, 12 models, and you'll be fine.
Cookie wants to know, does the Kathy play any mini games? Well, you came in after I talked about mini games and things I like and why I don't play them. But so I started out playing Blood Bowl as my first tabletop miniatures game.
Because she likes to start with the best.
Exactly. Oh my God, I had so much fun with Blood Bowl,
Blood Bowl's great.
and I haven't played it in years. I haven't played the new version at all, but I always hold a soft spot in my heart for that game. Ever
Yep.
since a million years ago when my brother started playing Warhammer Fantasy, uh, I actually made a list using his old books back in the long ago.
The long ago.
And I made a Khorne army, points wise. I made a list. But then he told me you need miniatures and you have to buy them. And I was like,
Out.
the fuck? I don't have any money. I'm like a teenager. I don't have, and you couldn't like just go to the store and get them. You had to mail order them or whatever. And so I never played, but I had a sweet Khorne list with bloodletters and flesh hounds and all that shit. And that was my very first Warhammer experience. And then my friend was running the role playing game.
Yeah, well, that
But I
happens a lot
didn't
of times.
actually play Warhammer Fantasy Battles until 1,000 years after that, after playing Blood Bowl and after playing 40K. So I played 40K. I had Dark Angels. I was wanting to play Chaos Space Marines as well and Demons because I've always liked Chaos. And then I won in a raffle a Beastman army that was painted.
So you played Beastmen.
So I played Beastmen, but it was really weird being a miniature painter and playing with somebody else's painted minis.
Ooh,
And people
yeah.
would come up and they would ask me, "Oh, did you paint these?" And I'm like, "No.
No, my stuff's so much better than this. Shit.
No, this is not a representation of my painting." So then I felt like I just need to sell these off to somebody else and get my own army. And I ended up playing Ogre Kingdoms because I had this ogre model and I wanted to paint it for Games Day for Golden Demons. And it was the Araby Maneater that I painted, and I wanted to know because he had these huge arms. What kind of tattoos should I put on him? So I borrowed the Ogre Codex, or army book, whatever they call it in fantasy, and I started reading the fluff about it, and I fell in love with ogres. I was like, wait a minute, they're always hungry? So am I.
Funny
I
story,
can get
Kathy.
into this.
That's the only man-eater I have left.
The Great Maw.
The Great Maw.
Oh my god. Look,
Yeah, they're
I
cool.
have. Hold on. Let me just show you a thing that's behind me right now.
Park.
This is my.
TJ.
Here's my models in this case that I painted.
Of course she painted the figure case because she's Kathy. Of course it looks like the Great Maw because she's Kathy.
That's part of my ogres.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I enjoyed the hell out of playing ogres. Even though I didn't get a ton of games in, and then the bunker closed, and I haven't played in years.
And then the dark times fell.
And then the dark times fell, and the world exploded and was destroyed utterly. And
I mean, we're not quite there yet, but yeah, I mean, we're on that track.
The world was destroyed utterly. I couldn't believe it when I heard the news. Someone actually, I was at a convention working for a t-shirt company, and somebody messaged me. They're like, "Did you hear the news?" Like, it's 6:30 in the morning, and I'm getting ready for work. Did you hear the news about fantasy?
Oh, was that when they announced Age of Sigmar?
It was when when they were like, the old world no longer exists, it was destroyed, and blah blah blah, and then this, and then he was sending me excerpts from the rules because all there was out there was excerpts at that point, and I was like, oh my god. And but now they have ogres in Age of Sigmar, and I feel like I should figure it out and have round bases for my square base guys. I know it
Uh,
says you don't have to change it, but aesthetically,
to be fair, except in Blood Bowl, I really like round bases better.
I prefer round bases absolutely.
In
But
Blood
I
Bowl, I like square bases because you got to knock them down to show they're knocked down, and then face down to show they're stunned.
yeah,
I can see that.
And they're played in squares. It's everyone looked at me like I was weird. They're like, "All right, John, that actually makes sense. So
it
we'll give you a
only makes
pass."
sense. Exactly, John. Totally makes sense there. However,
Yes.
I have all these square base ogres, and the bases are incredibly customized and
Well,
already painted.
I'll keep them. It's all good.
So I'm not yeah, I'm not all I want to do is like just glue my square bases onto some round bases.
Or just say fuck it, and it's all good.
Because
It's all good.
why the fuck not?
Yeah, it's all good. Gonzo, what do you look for in a minis game?
Um, if you would have asked me about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, my number one thing would have been very clean, crisp rules. But now I'm like with you. Give me a low model count. I
Yeah.
cannot see myself buying like I love War Machine Hordes. Don't get me wrong. I love it. It's one of my favorite miniature games. I like the complexity of it. I like the rules, so on and so forth. But I I don't know if I could get into another big game like that. Um, big model count type
Yeah.
thing. And that's the thing.
Uh,
There's nothing wrong with people buying a whole bunch of stuff, but me personally, I like Armada, 10 ships done. Oh, okay, a little bit of flyers, and then maybe a certain things here. Um, Heavy gear, 10 models. Um, Marvel Crisis Protocol, 10 models. Um, BattleTech, 7 or 8 models. You know what I'm saying? I cannot see.
God, I hope you're not playing BattleTech with 7 or 8 models. You got all day?
But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's only like it's like 10 and less.
That was called a joke, everyone, just so
yeah.
you can tell.
Yeah. Um, I can't see myself getting into a game, or I don't even see anybody making a game that would have 40K amount of models, Age of Sigmar amount of models anymore. It's just
And I
it's
found the
it's
super
too much.
secret, Gonzo. You can get around not so tight rules by having quote unquote tight players.
correct.
You're playing with the right people. It doesn't matter how tight the rules are because you're both on the same page.
Yeah, it would just have to. Everything has to be pretty solid. Model count wise, I got rid of my Legion because one, we had nobody here playing it. Star Wars Legion, of course, what I mean. And that was it. We had nobody here playing it anymore. And I'm like, I can't see myself buying into a game that big model count. Like Malifaux. I guess Malifaux's going through a little twist and turn right now. The burning something or other.
No, not really. It's just they're coming out with alternate rules for Masters, so you might have multiple ways to play Masters because it's a cool idea.
Saw that. I just saw that and I was like, okay. Nobody around here plays it, but I'm like, okay, cool. I was another one which is oh my gosh, whatever that model was, that game was that had the stones. That I showed Kathy the models for. Oh crap! Now it's gonna bug the crap out of me.
That goblin-y one? That had
Yes.
the goblins and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name of it.
Moonstone.
Oh
Moonstone.
yeah.
The models are
Motherfucker.
amazing. Gorgeous,
They
gorgeous
are.
models. Love it. The rules are interesting. It's got a different take. Kind of goes in a Malifaux type way, but nobody plays it. So I mean,
I have friends in Europe who play it because it's a European game, and I'm
Correct.
not surprised it hasn't gained in popularity here in the States because there haven't been any conventions where they can run demos and introduce the game to people and distributors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there's the people I know who play it in Europe love the shit out of it.
oh yeah,
So So Trash, we don't look into the smaller games just because they don't have the same presence. So we don't hear about them. When we do, we absolutely look into them and maybe play them, but it's hard to get others into it, you know. At the end of the day, I can grab my Age of Sigmar crap, go into a store, and I can get a game with any fool. I got a fair chance of getting a Malifaux game. I got a good chance of getting a Marvel Crisis Protocol game, you know. But when you come in with Moonstone or Relic Blade or Bushido, if you like what they bring, you're rolling the dice see if you can get a game in. So
Yeah.
and
You
so
got to
also
set
here,
those games up.
yeah, and you got to get people interested. Like me liking it doesn't help if the crew doesn't like it. Like I could probably get them into certain games, but it's hit or miss. So it's unfortunate that's that way, but it is the way it is.
Well, the thing is you also, even if you get your friends into a alternate game, it's got to be a cheap alternate game. It couldn't be like, hey, we're gonna do, we're playing 40K. Well, let's get everybody buy Age of Sigmar Army too, and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
That might be that's the one slight issue with Conquest is it's a hard sell.
Yeah.
It's one of the few on the higher end model count games I would think about because I like the models, I like the idea of it, and I like that it's a smaller company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those companies that it's one of those games that are smaller and people haven't heard of and don't get all into it because it's got good rules. It's got great models. Oh my gosh, their models
I
are
think
amazing.
that there's several games, that one included, Moonstone and Conquest, and some of the other ones that have come out. It came out like towards in 2019 and then they were all planning to go to conventions in 2020 to do demos and sell their shit. I mean,
2020 was like, fuck you.
Yeah, and 2021 has not been any better. You know, and I remember Marvel Crisis Protocol playing the demo of that at Gen Con in 2019.
Yeah,
2019. And
yeah.
It was a brand new game, and they were all set to be doing demos, you know, all over for the next year and everything, and couldn't do that. And I mean, because that one's based here in the U.S. and Fantasy Flight Games is part of Asmodee North America, which is part of Asmodee, which is the biggest game company specific in the world, not counting Hasbro.
Hasbro's not a game company; they're a toy company.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm not counting them. But anyways, this is why Marvel Crisis Protocol is all over. I hear all about it from all kinds of people. I had a blast playing it. It's a fantastic game. It's got fantastic models. And it's totally understandable why people love it. But these games from Europe, it's a lot harder to for them to come over here and introduce their new stuff. So it's really not surprising that over the last couple of years we haven't heard as much about those or had a chance to play them at all.
Yeah, because and the thing is they're not bad games. Miniatures are not bad. I mean, everything looks solid. It's just, I wouldn't say that we're in a flooded market of games, but it's very hard to pull people
away. We are. Because the games that are here are so entrenched.
That's probably a better word, entrenched.
To break in. Yeah. I mean, even something like Judgment. You know, big deal, big people backing it. I'm not sure that game is going to take off the way they want. Because you're in a tough market. You got to really bring it in a game nowadays to get noticed. The ones that have been here for a while are lucky they got their fan base, the Malifaux, the Infinities that are still here, you know. But other than that, you got to fight the big dogs. You got to fight the Star Wars Legion, the Marvel Crisis Protocol, the 40K, the Age of Sigmar. It's tooth and nail. And then once you've gotten past that to get a little bit of the thing, you got to fight past the secondary market of games, you know, Frostgrave and fucking, you know, all those things. There's a ton of games out there. There's a guy locally making a game called This Is Not a Test. I didn't get a chance to play it because they never really got a chance to fucking put it out there, you know? So we'll see.
Yeah, there's just a lot. I mean, because that's what a lot of people are afraid to try out new games anyway, because of
money.
Yeah.
Because you can't. I mean, so luckily the good thing about smaller model count games is that, let's say you try out Marvel Crisis Protocol, you bought the box set, you put the guys together, you paint them, you're down out $100. Not horrific, but people have the bad taste in their mouths from trying, 40K back in the day. Getting into 40K is not a cheap thing, and
No.
it people are gun shy because of that.
Especially now. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. There's a reason why some people are afraid to try certain games like 40K, Age of Sigmar, War Machine, and Hordes, because it's a huge investment wise now.
And I want to note that we're not talking about BattleTech, and there's a specific reason for that, because BattleTech is not a miniatures game. BattleTech is a board game. Absolutely is. You
And
could
the
play it.
miniatures are just game pieces.
Yep. You could play it as a miniatures game. There have been rules for that, but it is not inherently set up like that. Though I hope as they keep going, they will put those rules back out, because the miniature rules are interesting, because it gives you a lot more interesting gameplay. Rather than having to move hexes, having inches, you can do partial inches. Suddenly you've got a little more, I'm going to stop right here. There's a lot more interesting stuff. I've seen some cool maps for it.
Are your legs falling off on that guy, Gonzo?
Yeah, because he probably should have done them first before he put the torso on the bottom.
Yeah, I realized that. I thought the sockets.
Why don't you just put him down upside down, and then there won't be any pressure on his legs?
There is it. They're pretty solid. It's solid right here. My dog's going crazy. They must be wrestling. It's just we're interesting positioning on some.
Yeah, but it
of
was
these.
Okay.
original BattleTech. That was a big thing. BattleTech had the miniatures for the mechs. We would turn them inside out and write what miniature they are and do a front and back, just because we needed it. Oh yeah. And then we started getting models, but you didn't always have the right model. All right. So this model is actually the such and such, and this model is the such and such. Because, I mean, you didn't have them all back in the day. Jesus.
Oh, it was. I remember it was impossible to try to find certain models.
Nowadays, you'd want to wait for them to come out, but they don't have everything out. But we'll see. I mean, BattleTech is a comeback. It sort of spurred on Gonzo's decision on this, because there's a lot of 40K players who say they're going to go into BattleTech, in which case I say good luck. You're going to love the fluff. You are probably not going to like gameplay, because it's not the same as 40K in any way, shape, or form. Because it's not. Sorry. Should look at Star Wars Legion instead. Really should. That's, if you were the closest competitor to 40K as far as everything, Legion's the closest.
Yeah, I also think people are
Trash,
afraid of that.
You would like to look at the Alpha Strike rules. They are much. It's not going to be 45 minutes. You're never going to play any miniatures game in 45 minutes. Just put that out of your head.
Unless it's Warcry. Done it.
I mean, so you're not going to play any real miniatures game. You're not going to play any most miniature games in that. Some of the gang style one, yes, because I played Necromunda games in that time, but very few. And actually, it kind of worries me you could play Warcry in 45 minutes. But anyways, I've had some Malifaux games in 45 minutes. Yeah, they weren't fun, though, I can tell you that. But anyways, yeah, so, but if you're interested, Alpha Strike is the rules for BattleTech that's supposed to be, is the much more easier rules and not as much crunchy, not as record keepy as the full BattleTech rules.
Yeah, it's like BattleTech Light.
Yeah, but it's made for playing larger number of mechs and making it easier.
I haven't played Malifaux in so long. Not since what was it, the first, when second edition debuted at Gen Con is the last time I played Malifaux.
I tried to do a demo at Adepticon one year, but the guy doing the demo was horrible. And I was like, oh, no.
Malifaux's a tough game to demo. Not gonna lie.
It is. It is. I remember going to the Wandering Dragon, the game store that's about 45 minutes or so from my house. And they had Malifaux Thursday night there for a while. And there was a guy who was doing demos. He was like one of the, what do they call the Malifaux the people who volunteer and henchmen.
Oh yeah.
And he just basically he had all the factions, all the crews, and just handed me one, and he played another one, and he just explained the whole way through a game, and it was super fun, and he was really good about it. And then there was another guy who basically lent me a Justice Lady J crew with the Death Marshals.
Blunt force trauma.
Well, you know, that's what I like.
Hey, Lady J's
so how did he know? That's the question. How did he know? So he lent me this crew for an indeterminate amount of time, so that I could play the game whenever, which is extremely nice. And I had only just met this person, you know, and so I painted his Lady J for him because of that. And I didn't tell him. I was like, well, this isn't painted, so I'm just gonna paint this for him. He could always paint over it, I guess.
Paint over a Kathy Wappel job. Fuck. That's hardcore.
I just wanted to thank him for lending me these models, you know?
That's super cool. I do find it funny that they had Malifaux on Thursday night, the same night most of the places I've gone to have had it. Random.
Maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know, but yeah.
So yes, to sum up for miniature games, you're looking for a place to play, people to play with, Kathy. Then model count is a big one nowadays. Rules less so. I can get by shitty rules with having great people. And then just interesting models and, not being made by Games Workshop. Hey-yo! It's not really true. Actually, I'd love to play some Games Workshop games, but there are other things that go in there, like we talked, Mo and I talked about Adeptus Titanicus, and even No Nickname Frank and I talked about it. The price tag was too much for us. Like, stop and think about this. I spend money on miniature, the fucking toys behind me. It was too expensive for me.
Thanks for the follow, Thirstix.
So there you go. How many? Motherfucker, really, Bowie? Really? Tactical rocks.
0 tactical rocks in those models, Bowie. Fucker.
Anyways.
You know what's funny is I got into Necromunda, and we were doing a Necromunda campaign, and we were all playing and stuff, and it just kind of died because eventually, like, one team started getting a little bit more powerful, and it was just beating everybody up, and it just nosedived. And I loved Necromunda. I love Necromunda a lot. I think it's great. I love the armor, XP gathering, guys getting better type stuff.
I haven't played New Necromunda. I loved Old Necromunda. I ran a very long-standing campaign at the Glen Burnie Bottle Bunker for anyone who would show up on Friday nights. We'd play during the week a little bit after work, because most of us worked there. Anyone who showed up was welcome. And then on Fridays, I would get whoever was there, and I would make some sort of stupid scenario for them to play in, just because I could. So there's a lot of stuff you can do there. That's a great one. I would like to see the resurgence of the Necromunda Mordheim style game. I know Frostgrave is theoretically like that, but I can't convince Elmarge to play Frostgrave. I forget the reason why, but
Frostgrave is pretty good. I like it.
I have the Kings of War version. Vanguard?
Yeah.
Vanguard. I have that because I bought the book. It was half price. Like, I cannot pass up a half price miniature game book, and it seems good. But again, getting people to play it.
Yeah, because it's really hard to do that nowadays, especially when people are entrenched in their own games.
Well, we don't have so much time anymore. I mean, COVID has made us realize how little time we have sometimes, for the most part. And honestly, it's, if you've only got, let's say you've only got a weekend, you got 2 games a week. What are you going to play? It's hard. Like, and as you can't go to the game store every night right now because it's still not really feasible. Like, maybe I think we revisit this topic after COVID's done and maybe see how things have changed. Oh, really, Cookie? Curse City? Yeah, Curse City. Good call. I'd rather play Blackstone Fortress.
What was that?
So I'd rather play Blackstone Fortress.
I was trying to make a joke.
I mean,
That was one of the things where it was like, oh, this is going to be so cool, so fun, and
they shot themselves directly in the face. Like, it's impressive how terribly they missed the mark.
Yeah, that one went pretty bad. And disappeared quite quickly.
Yeah.
The
I
only
mean, the models
thing
are cool.
Oh, yeah. The only thing I've seen played lately of their other games is Blood Bowl. And it's because we've got a pretty big Blood Bowl group here that are willing to do, because they set up, a league.
League is the way to play Blood Bowl. Like, you don't play Blood Bowl one-off games. You play a league.
League is the best.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where the fun is. I've won
That's where
many,
you
many
get
Blood Bowl
to
games.
you develop a theme and a name for your team. You name all your guys on your roster.
And you keep your stuff, because like next season someone's like, I want to challenge the champs or whatever, and you're
Uh-huh.
like, all right, motherfucker, come bring it.
Every game you're earning star player points you get to spend to build your team up.
Yep.
To build your players up, individual players and stuff, and give them bonuses that carry over all the way through the season and into the next season. And you end up with rivalries with some of the other coaches and stuff, and it gets to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the one time someone did that to me and challenged the champs, which was my humans, that game was 7-0. And I apologize for it not being 8-0, but I had to play offense once. Every other one was defensive scores. Sorry.
I
Anyways.
loved my chaos team, and then I started playing Nurgle, the Nurgle team, which is terrible.
I also
And,
love my chaos team. I just got sick of 5 agility chaos warriors. I had 2 of them. It is the stupidest thing. Oh, I gotta pick up this ball in somebody's tackle zone.
That's
2
the
plus.
thing. Wait, 5
like-
agility? Because Chaos
Yes.
Warriors start out with like 2 agility.
With a 3. Black
I
Orcs
thought
are-
the Beastmen.
No, they were all 3. That's why the chaos warriors are so expensive, because they were just
You
playing
know
better.
what? I'm thinking of my Nurgle team. They're similar but different.
Yeah, similar but different. So yes, I got 2 agility upgrades on 2 different chaos warriors.
That's pretty amazing.
It was
Because
pretty
you
amazing.
need like special doubles for that, don't you?
11. 11
Yeah.
for agility. So I rolled 11 4 fucking times. And before anyone asks, I do have special dice just for Blood Bowl. Because they know not to roll 1s when I don't need 1s.
Oh,
So-
goblins are fun. Well, Trashorama, you're familiar with
Goblins are super
the
fun.
Wapelius Mimes of Moria, right? They call them mimes.
Mimes. Oh god, I get you.
The goblin team. Oh god.
Mimes of Moria. I'm with you.
It converted every single model to have a French street mime theme,
Wow.
including the two trolls.
Dedication. I'm dedication. I would say hats off. My hat's already off, but salute. Dedication.
Oh, Francois and Pierre.
Oh,
Those were the trolls.
I feel bad, Trash. You never won a game. The last league we played, we didn't get to the final. We didn't get to play the finals because work went crazy. It was a Games Workshop league. It was going to be, I believe, the next round was me versus Chris Marshall when he was working there, and that would have been a hell of a game. I'm not even sure that was for the finals. It might have been semi, but I was upset because of the round before I had to play Nicole Shuchuk for that round, and her goddamn Amazon scored a touchdown. I mean, I won, but I had not allowed a touchdown until then. I was so upset. Anyways, I think we're in media section.
We are in media section. I have like
Let
3
me-
things.
Let me do mine first.
None.
I'm done. Sorry, it was a week.
Yeah. Type thing. So I have technically 4 things I want to talk about, but
Oh, good.
is it all on me tonight, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
let me
it
know when
is.
the uninteresting one comes up because I really, really got to pee.
Well, I want to talk about Overlight real quick.
All right, I'm peeing.
Yeah. So John's gonna go pee while I talk about Overlight. So I bought the book, and I bought it on a whim because Kathy and I had talked about it on Gen Con stuff, and the world is kind of interesting. There is no planet. There are layers of planets. There's layers of the world, aka I'll show you a quick picture. This is the world. There is no day. There is no night. There is shadows that go over, except for the very top planet. There's an endless sea and an endless space. But everything's connected by the overlight. Everybody has these abilities that are called chromas that, best way to describe it, lets them do super powerful stuff. I haven't got really big into it. The races are kind of weird. There's like 2 different humans. There's these giant monkeys.
Humans are giant monkeys.
No. I'm talking about giant monkeys.
I mean, they are.
I'm talking giant monkeys.
Like ogre-sized monkeys?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
this is one of the races. They're kind of like a giant chicken, but they're only about knee-high to a human. Yeah. Very interesting. I'm still going through, like, the history and stuff.
Chicken! Chicken!
There's one that they kind of describe that's like Groot. They're nature and animal together in one, and I'll show you a picture of it when I can find it. But like, here's like the giant monkeys. That's a human next to them, and that's like the giant monkey next to them. They're monks, by the way. There's like some moth creatures. I was waiting for you on that, John. There's these red-skinned humans. There's other things like this. Here's the art is kind of weird because here's one of those races that's like part creature, part plant.
It's a tree
Benari?
bunny, a tree fox. It looks like a fennec fox tree.
Yeah. But I haven't got too much into it. It is fantasy. There's not any steampunk or anything like that. A lot of weird abilities. It uses D4s through D12s, and like your stat and your skills, you add those together, and that's the dice you get to use. That's about as far as I got. So if you're using like your stat is a D6, the other stuff is, whatever. It's just kind of weird. I haven't got through it yet, but I'm going to get through it because I'm interested in it because I've always like I said, different cool RPGs. But it's got me at least interested enough to read through the rest of the book. The story, it is Earth in the very far future. So we don't know the actual timeline or if it's whatever, but it is definitely Earth because I do mention that it is Earth. So I'll give a better review after I get it, but it's a big book. A huge book. They've put out a couple of modules for it already, but no other supplements. This has been about, 2 or 3 years ago? It's like 330 pages. 327 pages of a rule book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get through it. I'm interested enough. Kathy, did you have anything?
No. I haven't really,
Except for when I
really
get to
watched
Robin Hood?
anything this week. I've been busy.
Unless she wants to talk about Yes some more.
Busy with fun things, and I don't know that I need to talk about Yes any more than I already have tonight.
I mean, I could talk about 38 Special since about the greatest hits of 38 Special. Actually, quite good.
I did watch.
Yes.
Did anybody else watch What If? The first episode of What If came out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good. Didn't get a chance to.
What if what? Where is it on?
It's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
What If is based off of the comic book series of What If blah blah blah, and this one is What If Captain Carter took the super soldier serum instead of Captain America type thing. Steve Rogers.
Oh,
Steve Rogers.
right. Okay. Yes.
And the animation was kind of interesting and a little different. It took a little to get used to, But the story was good. The action was good. I'm not going to ruin it because people haven't seen it. I liked it. Captain Carter as Captain America, put quotes around that because it was really, really good. There are some scenes and you're like, oh, shit. Yeah, kick his ass type thing. But it definitely was really good. I'm looking forward to what the next episodes are going to be. But it was solid. I enjoyed it. Animation, like I said, there was something I was like watching. I was like, what's going? What? Okay, and then eventually you get used to it, and then it starts going through. But I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good. Like half a Space Herpes just because of the animation, but overall really solid. I want to see where. I definitely want to know where they go with everything from here on out. Okay, Kathy, we need to talk about Robin of Sherwood. Cause holy crap! I mean, first things first. I'm watching it, and I'm trying to get into the little prequel before they do the intro music and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is holy crap! Did they just like pull the '80s out, and it's just completely 100% '80s? And I'm watching it, and then the music.
Spoiler: it was made in the 80s
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it is. It is.
1983,
on
84.
BBC, and it did not have a large budget.
No, you can. I mean,
Nothing on the BBC had a large budget.
the synth music for everything, type thing, and then the intro music, Robin. I'm like,
Why not?
but it is so much in the '80s and so much. I don't know what to think of this. I'm on episode 2, and the
You don't even know yet.
I know because y'all were telling me about it, and I'm like, where is this? This is
My
okay.
sister turned me onto this, and I do not regret it at all. It was super. I mean, not granted, a little bit of nostalgia memory, but I recall it being really enjoyable, if a bit odd.
It is odd.
I remember seeing it once or part of one in the 90s as I was flipping through cable channels in the early 90s, but I didn't ever get a chance to watch the whole thing. And then a friend of mine found it, that same link that I shared with you, and so we've been watching those and watched a couple of the second season episodes today. Second season's a little different. Of course, second seasons always are a bit different.
Because I'm sure it was in danger of being canceled, so they switched things up.
Yeah.
This is the one where, like, so when I saw Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and they introduced Will Scarlet, I'm like, that's not Will Scarlet. The fuck is his brother? No way. Man.
I read Robin Hood. I don't know which iteration of Robin Hood it was that I read. I read a book of it, but the very first Robin Hood experience I ever had, and I said this last week, was the Errol Flynn Robin Hood, and that's what I grew up on. I'm sure I watched it a few times before I ever saw any other Robin Hood anything, and I never saw the Disney cartoon version. So
Have you still not seen it?
no. Although now I have Disney Plus, so I guess
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's my favorite.
The chase scene is one of my favorite scenes. And the music that goes along with it.
I haven't seen Men in
Robin Hood,
Tights.
Little John,
I
running
do want
through
to see
forest.
Men in Tights. But you know what's funny? There's a. I don't think I'll spoil it for Gonzo at all if he even makes it to season 2. There is a scene in the one I watched today that has mummers in it, and they do this mummer act, and it was just like the friends of mine in Minnesota who do mumming, and you can Google what mummers are, and Wiki will tell you. But now I know where my friends got the inspiration for their mumming act, and what they would do is they would dress up in these cheap ass disguises. It is absolutely safe to Google that. It is just an ancient British tradition. It's not filthy, like some other ancient British traditions.
Since we will get this, it's not like the thing we told people to Google at Marshall's place yesterday.
Oh God, I don't even want to know.
It was a Penny Arcade thing, and if you know Penny Arcade controversy,
Oh
yeah, it's that one. He's like, "Is that the name to Google?" I'm like, "No." Proceed. Sorry.
I don't know. I lost my train of thought. That's fine though.
Mummers.
It's Robin Hood. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to continue. I mean, I can watch on my phone, break or do whatever. So it's quick and easy for me. I started watching the new season of Evil. It's on Paramount Plus now. They shifted it over there. Boo. But I have a Paramount Plus account right now. So I'm watching it. Evil is a story of three people. One guy is a tech guy that doesn't believe in God or spirits. The other one's a psychologist that kind of, she's on the edge. And then the third is a priest. And of course believes in the demonic and all this stuff. And they try to solve whether it's like, a demonic, kind of like an X-Files type thing, and try to solve stuff. I'm really, really liking this show. It is very solid. The three main characters really play off of each other very, very well. And so it makes it well worth it. Because even some of this stuff are like, oh, this person's, because you really don't know on some of the episodes whether this is supernatural or not, by how it ends. And you're okay with that because you're like, yeah, don't care. But it is very interesting to watch these three try to either prove it or debunk it or whatever. So I'm really enjoying it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. They only bring out like an episode a week, so you can't binge watch it. You can only watch, I binge watched like 3 episodes. So I am enjoying that a lot. The other thing that I watched, and because it was new season started out, was Titans. Titans is on HBO Max. Yeah, I was going to say Moby Max for some reason. Is on HBO Max, and there's only about, I think there's only like 3 or 4 episodes out right now. And this is going, and I don't want to say dark, but this is going in a serious. Batman is gone. He has left Gotham. And it is the Titans are now in charge of kind of keep the peace in Gotham. No, not a spoiler, but Red Hood is now in this.
I mean, it's in all the trailers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not a spoiler. But it's gotten a bit more serious, less CW.
Wait. Considering the preview that made me not want to watch it was Dove fucking killing a man, it's getting more serious.
Well, like I said, it's not more serious. It's just last season there was a bit of a CW feel to it. This one, I'm not getting that feel right now. We're only 3 episodes in now.
So, to be fair, it's okay if comic book based shit has a CW-ish feel, as long as it doesn't go full CW, because comic books have always been quasi soap opera.
Yes.
Just can't go full soap opera.
Correct. If you deter from the story just to have the romance, then it's an issue, and that's what we mean when we say CW-ish. It totally forgets everything.
It's that family interpersonal drama that is often cliched and or fucking extra as fuck. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of that. If you couldn't tell, I may watch. Just as a note, I may watch Titans because L. Marshall watched it and he doesn't know the Titans from fucking any other comic book he's never read. And he's like, I found it amusing. I'm like, well, I might watch it, though. Me knowing the Titans, and it was one of my, like, the Titans was actually my X-Men. I was a big Titans fan long before I started reading X-Men. So that shit being wrong is just hurts my soul because it seems so fucking wrong.
I'd be curious to see what you think, because I wasn't into the big Titans fan. I knew of the Titans, but I wasn't, big into it. Don't know all the stories, all the characters, backstory and stuff. So it'd be interesting to get your take on it. But, I mean, I'm enjoying it. First 3 episodes were good. It's interesting to see this. The costumes are solid. They don't look, cheap or anything. They look like they're solidly built. I mean, you have Nightwing, Red Hood, the whole team, and all their costumes look really good. Um, I'm impressed with that, which DC's been doing really good on their costuming for their characters lately, especially like the Suicide Squad. Their costumes have been looking really solid. Um, but
Yeah, but I mean, let me know tell me what you think about it. If you're going to give it a rating or give it a preliminary idea, then I want to talk about DC for the remainder of our time.
Well, there's not going to be anything. There's not going to be a rating yet because I'll give it a final. But so far, I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it better than the first season. And I can't say anything because if I say anything, it'll spoil it. Of the last bit was an oh shit, oh crap type thing that I'm really looking forward to the next episode. Left on a good cliffhanger type thing. Definitely wants me to go for it. So,
Cool.
So DC.
Man, I realized talking about it, they've really shit the bed by not making one continuous universe.
I'll agree with you on that.
Like, they try to put it all together, but someone brought it up, and even Idris Elba brought it up, is that, so in the Suicide Squad movie, his character was in jail for trying to kill Superman with his kryptonite bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, wouldn't that have been nice to see?
Yeah.
First.
Yep. And not after.
Plus, you got all this stuff they've done, all these seasons of shit they've done on TV that's totally separate. Yeah. And now you got the Titans that is totally separate. And now that some people do what they want, there's no idea if they're going to be all together or not. It's just terrible.
I don't even know if you could really do that because, of course, we got the new Batman coming out with Robert Pattinson, and
it's not going to be. It's going to be its own standalone thing.
Yeah.
It is the opposite of things like Marvel and like even Fast and Furious. I'm using that as a fucking barometer. But like, how do you miss the mark so fucking bad? Like, even making good, solid movies, they've had some solid movies. You got Wonder Woman, you got Aquaman, Shazam, by all accounts, is good. I haven't seen it yet. Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, which is a new one, everyone agrees is pretty good. I actually like the old one, but then you've got lots of mediocrity and crap. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
If they would have done a DC universe, a DCU like Marvel did, it would have been.
They can match. They have, technically speaking, before Marvel hit, stronger properties. Think about pre-Iron Man superhero movies.
Yeah.
DC good, Marvel bad. Before Iron Man, what was the best Marvel movie? It would either be one of the Incredible Hulk TV movies, Blade, or fucking Daredevil. And think about that for a sentence. I had to say that. Blade is probably it.
I would say Blade.
I would say Blade probably would be.
But Blade is just barely even that.
So
no,
picky.
I didn't. I didn't miss Elektra at all.
I actually liked it.
It was not present for Elektra. Does not mean I missed it.
The best Marvel movie.
Yes, best Marvel movie. It's a swirly one with the red and the blue and the white inside. It's so good. But so it's like, and then, once Iron Man happened, they just rolled with it. Their worst movie is better than the majority of DC movies. And that is either Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, or Thor: The Dark World, depending on which you prefer. They're still better than the majority of DC movies. Yeah, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Brandon's X-Men helps up, but they don't even necessarily hold up necessarily as well as you think. Like, the X-Men was enjoyable. X2 is still one of my favorites, but man, that's probably more fair. Let's just bend that for Bui says. Until X-Men / Spider-Man came out, it was DC, and then at that point, you had more parity, and then Marvel's just run off with it, and DC's just playing catch up.
Yeah. It kind of stinks because I grew up with the Superman movies, the Flash TV show.
Look, I've seen Superman the movie in the theaters recently-ish, and it's still fucking great. It still gets you. Batman, I'm sure if you watched Michael Keaton's Batman, would still get you in the theater. But the rest is just, oof. I don't know. And then you get TV. It's not even like Titans are in like the CW verse. They just, I mean, they made a good play by bringing Supergirl into the CW verse and getting all that together. But I don't know. What the fuck are they doing?
They would have to almost do a reboot or combine a couple in together, and you're like, but we knew that the Batman movie is a whole separate universe. It would be so hard.
Yeah, I agree, Bowie. Well, so they keep the executives out of it, but they also need to rein in the directors, because the Suicide Squad, its only downside is it's too fucking James Gunn. It is a little too much. We need it here. It's here. Want it here. It's here. It's just a little too fucking much. So, interesting to see what they do, if they can do anything. Because Flashpoint is supposed to be one of the movies coming out. It's supposed to sort of be that whole retcon everything, because people need a retcon.
Yep.
We'll see. And just as long as people stop, bring back the Snyderverse. Please stop. Stop. It's not good. It's not even fucking remotely good. Stop. The Color of Money with Marbles. I love The Color of Money. It's a great song. Too bad Eric Clapton's a piece of shit.
So, well, guys, that is our show for tonight. We appreciate everybody coming here. You can also follow Kathy trash talking with Trashorama on their Marble Championship battle they're going to have next time she's in Texas.
It's going down, Trashorama. The gauntlet has been thrown.
Live stream marbles. This could be some shit.
That's edge of your seat entertainment right there.
We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Yeah, hey, I will be streaming. Thank you so much for the shout out, Captain Mizzy, for Kathy Wapple. Hey, take a look at Kathy Wapple's stuff over at that link. And Kathy paints miniatures.
And does reading fun.
She does read books out loud, and the chat is welcome to participate in the running commentary.
I hope you don't read books to yourself, because that would not be nearly as interesting on Twitch.
You're right, it probably would not be. I'd be reading it out loud. The first one I'm reading, which is this Tuesday, just 2 days from now, it is a Conan the Barbarian story that appeared in Weird Tales magazine. It is by Robert E. Howard, who wrote all the Conan novels. And I will be doing Conan's voice in my best Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation. And all of the characters that appear in the story their names will be changed to the names of people in the chat. So, yeah, so I'm not even painting miniatures on my very first stream on my own channel. I'm reading, and we're just going to be nerds about it.
You got to set the bar properly, which is up here.
And then the next day we'll be back to painting the elf paladins that I'm working on. So hopefully I see some people in the chat. Come by and say hi and make me feel like I'm not just talking to myself or reading to myself.
I know what that feels like. Speaking of which, I'll be streaming MechWarrior Online probably Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, maybe Friday, and of course Sunday morning. We will have to see how things go. I have a buddy nicknamed Frank, who's back in town. He doesn't have a house yet. He's living in a hotel, so we often have dinner, and I'm not always sure I can make it home in time to stream. So we'll see what happens. Guaranteed Monday, probably Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Friday. Friday is also becoming a little too try-hardy, and I may not play on Friday because fuck those people.
And
we'll see.
Just so you know that I will be coming on and doing some streaming on a couple of days. And I will either be working on some models painting. It'll be a later stream. Won't be the time that Kathy's streaming, but it'll be a later time of the night. And I decided I'm going to start working on my Gunpla. and do some Gunpla streams.
Oh,
Gunpla.
when that's interesting. Looks like we might have a Gonzo and John Jamaican stick fight for streaming times.
Oh,
Someone
live
cue the
stream
fight
that
music.
stick fight.
Except for I will not be streaming on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So I have Wednesday
I
and
love
Friday.
that we both started doing that music.
I mean, we said fight music. There's
Yeah,
no
there
other
is-
fight music.
Yeah, there is no other fight music.
fight music.
I mean, shit, that's what it is.
So, but yeah, I decided that if it on some days it'll probably be like a Wednesday, Friday type thing. Since
Tell
you're
you
gonna be
what,
doing-
you can have Wednesday and Friday. I will not be streaming on Friday, everyone.
But it'll be later at night type thing, or like 6 to 8 or something like that. And I don't know which
like-
one I'm doing. It may work on some models. It may work on some Gunpla. No. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Gunplas to work on.
There
And
you
that
go.
bright gold one that I want to do too. So that one's
Oh
gonna be
yes.
that one
I
really
have
want to finish.
one. I have one Gunpla that I have not put together.
I have like 5 in my shopping cart or wish list on Amazon.
I have one that I did put together. This is my very first Gundam.
So, well, let's figure out. It won't be for a little bit, school week and everything starting, but it'll be probably a couple of weeks before I do that. So, well, guys, we appreciate you listening, watching, and all this other stuff. Make sure you check us out. Please take care of yourself. Please wear a mask. Excuse me, if you haven't got the vaccine, go get it. Take care of yourself. We'll
I'm
be sending you
Kathy.
off to the Pyro Club.
I'm John.
And I'm Gonzo. Good night.
Good night.
Like crazy.
I bet they're on break.
Are we done? Are we
No.
done yet? Are we done
How
now?
about now?
Now?
No.